Good afternoon, I'm Malcolm Jordan and this is your Midday News Fix for Monday the 6th of October. A police officer has been shot in Auckland's Flatbush, reportedly incurring non-life-threatening injuries. Police say a firearm was used against them as they were conducting inquiries at a Chapel Road property at 9:30 this morning. The road's cordoned off between Baverstock and Stancombe Roads. The Prime Minister says the government is bringing forward benefit changes simply because it can. It set an earlier date of November next year for when parents earning more than $65,500 will have to support 18 and 19-year-olds who will no longer be eligible for a benefit. A $1,000 incentive payment will go to some who stay off benefits for 12 months. Chris Luxon says the legislation process takes at least a year and the sooner attitudes change, the better.
The bigger issue here is we're trying to reset expectations with young people that you just can't partially attend school and then just drift on into unemployment benefit.
Health New Zealand has confirmed the country's measles cases tally has risen to 11. Another case has been detected in Northland to a total of 10. One unrelated case was identified in Queenstown last week, linked to international travel. Emily Ansell reports.
Health New Zealand says there are no new locations of interest in Northland, as the latest case was in quarantine during their infectious period. The agency is asking anyone travelling overseas to make sure they have 2 doses of the MMR vaccine, including for places like Australia and North America.
A man's been charged with murder and is due in court this morning after a sudden death in North Dunedin. Rosie Leishman reports.
Police found a 36-year-old man dead at a property on Great King Street about 2 p.m. on Friday. A neighbour told our newsroom they heard what they believed was a man's scream, and police had been investigating an empty lot that looked like a dump. Police say initial indications suggested the man had died from non-accidental injuries.
In Sydney, a 60-year-old man's been arrested after a gunman opened fire last night in the suburb of Croydon Park. At least one person was hit and seriously injured, and 16 hurt, with up to 100 shots fired between 7:45 and 9:30 p.m. Talks continue over the release of hostages, which could lead to a ceasefire in the Middle East. Hamas has agreed in principle to parts of the US proposed ceasefire framework, leading the US to tell Israel to stop its airstrikes. Mediators will meet overnight tonight in Egypt to finalise an agreement. Secretary of State Marco Rubio says discussions are taking place to work out who goes in to get the hostages and where they'll be.
The conditions have to be created for that to happen. You can't have bombs going off and fighting going on in the middle of this exchange.
2 Blue Bridge Cook Strait ferry crossings today have been cancelled after one of its ferries encountered an issue while berthed at Picton. It had to be briefly tugged to allow the other ferry to arrive. To sport. The Silver Ferns coaching saga remains bogged in mediation between Netball New Zealand and Dame Nolene Taurua. The NPC rugby quarterfinals are set. Otago host Waikato on Friday. Bay of Plenty meet Tasman and Hawke's Bay face Taranaki on Saturday, and Canterbury duel with Counties Manukau on Sunday. The Black Foils remain second in the Sail GP standings after the Spanish regatta, and New Zealand's finished with 7 medals, 3 golds, 2 silver and 2 bronze at the Para Athletics World Champs in New Delhi. I'm Malcolm Jordan, that's your latest news fix. We'll be back with the next update at 5 p.m. from the Newstalk ZB newsroom.